Hi there. So for the next few questions in the homework, I'm going to make one video and then just upload them to each question. It's basically using the same technology, but asking different pieces of information about a confidence interval. So questions 4 and 5 are asking about the margin of error. Okay. When you get to question 6, it does ask for the confidence interval, which is much easier and it's using some of the technology than calculating this. I'll show you why. And question 7 is going to be the same. Question 8 will be the same. And then question 9 turns into hypothesis testing. So for questions, let's see here, 5 through 8. Nope, 4 through 8. We're going to be using the same technology. So the things we're going to use is either this thing here, this confidence interval Microsoft Excel template. Let me show you what that looks like. This is an updated version because I have now, oh no, this should, well, maybe it's an updated version. But at any rate, this is the version that shows we're going to be using the second row here since we're talking about the mean. And we're going to use that. Another option is to use Minitab, which I already did some of the work, but I'll go through the steps. And then a third option is actually using a website, which I will link in the question. That's not in there just yet, but I will have a link to this, and I'll show you how this website works. So the reason I'm doing the website is some of you might have Chromebooks or doing this on your phone, and you don't have Minitab or the Microsoft Excel app for that other thing to work. So this is the third solution for those with technology issues. Now, the only bad part about this web page, there's two things. As you can see, lots of advertisements. And the only other thing is when you hit the calculate button here, it does take sometimes up to 2 minutes for the answer to show up down below. So, but I already did it for this question, so we'll have it all set. So, all right, so let's go through this. So let me get to my, so there's going to be 3 options, okay? There's going to be option 1 is to use the confidence interval template, which is probably the easiest because I have the margin of error already calculated. Option 2 is going to be Minitab, and option 3 I don't have listed here yet, but option 3 will be the website. And of all things, the website is called Math. Whoops, let me see if I can write this. The website is called Math Cracker. And so you will see the everything that I do here in all 3 steps. So let's start with step number 1. If you want to fast forward to the other 2, like if the website is where you need to be at, you could fast forward to that part of this video, because this video might be just a tad long because I'm going through all 3 options. All right, so let's take this information that we have, and the information is crucial. We have our sample size, we have our sample mean, and we have our sample standard deviation, and then we have the confidence level that we want. So let's first use my template, which works really well for doing these if you have the Microsoft Excel app installed on your device. So the sample mean, and hang on 1 second while I'm going to move this over here so I have the numbers. Okay, so let's type these in. So from the question, we have a sample mean of 45. And then I just hit tab. Notice I'm in the bottom one here because this is X bar, not just successes. This is sample mean. And then the standard deviation, which is S, is 6 from the problem. The sample size is 13. And then, but one of the things that this question doesn't state that, does it actually come from a normal distribution, but we're going to have to assume it does. The sample size is actually too small for this to be any type of distribution, so we're hoping that it's the right one. And my confidence level, I can either type in 0.8 or I can type in 80% with the percent sign. Okay, so once I get this all done, my answer pops up right over here. See where it says margin of error, 2.257. So if I go to the homework question, let's see if it's 2.257. There it is, 2.26, because I had to round the answer. So it says give your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's option 1. That's the easiest option. Another option is to use Minitab. So let me go through the steps on how to get this, and then we actually have to use a calculator to get the answer. All right, so I would go to the Stat button. Okay, then Basic Stats. And this one's not as apparent, but I have to go to a 1 sample T. Okay, 1 sample T. So when I'm here, it's going to default to this screen. We don't have the number summarized in a table in a column. I have it actually summarized where I actually have all this information. And I know this is tiny, and I'm sorry, but this is just the way my graphics work on this screen. I don't think I can really zoom in. Okay, so sample size is the first row, 13, sample mean 45, standard deviation 6. But before you press OK, you have to press the options button, and we have to change the confidence level to the 80%. So this time you would just type 80.0, no percent sign, which is strange because it's accepting this as a percent. Then click OK, and then click OK, and here's my interval. Now, here's the problem with the interval and this information. This will work for questions like 6, 7, and 8 when I ask you for the confidence interval. No problem, right? It's 2 decimal places. We're good to go. The problem is that it doesn't tell me the margin of error. So we have to go back to our... Let's see if this actually works. Come on, there we go. Let me make this. So let's go back to our question. And if you remember the formula from the first 2 questions, the margin of error was equal to B minus A, all of that divided by 2. So now I'm going to have to use a calculator to get this answer. All right, so let's see. Can I copy these numbers? I don't know if this is going to work, so I can have them handy. But let's go to our thing here, hit the calculator button. Let me make this bigger. Let me drag the calculator up here, and you can see why then this is a little tougher to do. So I need parentheses. Now let's see what happens if I paste. Oof. Let me get rid of this information. So I just pasted from Minitab and garbage happened. And let me get rid of the rest of this. And actually, I do get my 2 numbers, and I just have to do a subtraction. Now, the only issue is it's going to be negative because I didn't do the bigger minus the smaller. So let me just switch the order here. Control X to cut it, Control V to paste it. Let me put the minus sign. Let me get that there. And you can see how much work this is. Whoa, 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 why is it doing that? Okay, so now I end up with that answer, but why isn't it letting me divide? Divided by... Uh-oh. Wow, I'm running into lots of issues here. I apologize. So let me just hit enter. And then let me see if it just lets me do divided by... I gotta copy this answer in. Control C. Wow, this is a lot of work for this one. And divided by 2. Okay, there it is. 2.26, and you can see the answer there. All right, similarly... So this is option 2. Option 3 is the website. So some of you might be forced to use the website option. So option 3 would be the website. And I'll put the link in the question right next to the link for the, or right below the link for the confidence interval template on Excel. So you put in your 3 numbers here. Now down here it does say example. You could put in a decimal. It says you could put in integer values. And then it says you could actually type in like 99%. But when I typed in 80 with the percent sign, it didn't know what to do with it. It gave me an error. So I just typed 80 and hit calculate. Now, let's look at what it does here. So it shows me the solution with all the formulas. So in my Microsoft Excel template, it is doing all this information behind the scenes. Okay? So again, I need these 2 numbers. To be typed in, so I don't have a margin of error. The margin of error is actually this quantity right here. Do you see how 1.356, 6 divided by square root of 13? If you type that in, you'll get the 2.26. Or if you take the answer and do 47.257 minus the 42.743 and divide by 2, you should get the 2.26. All right, so that's a lot of options. But I wanted to give everyone a chance because I know with technology, sometimes it's just not feasible, to have the Minitab installed and then having, maybe you're doing this on your phone or whatever. So I just wanted to give everyone a chance to do this. So again, that answers questions 4 and 5 about the margin of error. Okay. But then questions 6, 7, and 8 are all going to be, just putting in are much easier because all you got to do is type the numbers in here for the confidence interval. And from Minitab, it's these 2 numbers. From my Excel template, It's these two numbers on the end. And so that should help you then with these next 5 questions or so. All right, good luck.